Welcome to another Insider Hoop Scoop. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Mighty Joe, another beautiful day. Got a little bit of rain to kind of cool things off for us. And now we're doing so fine here. And doing so fine because we're talking about Red Raider basketball again. The last couple of weeks we've talked about incoming grad transfers, the guys returning to the roster, some of the standouts from the previous season. Now we're going to talk about this recruiting class, which is the best recruiting class in the program's history. It's ranked 16th in the country. Kansas overtook them here recently. But number 2 in the Big 12, which is an amazing feat for Texas Tech basketball. And it looks like even better classes could be on the horizon, by the way. Check out the Insider board for that. But Mighty Joe, I think it all starts, there's several great players that make up this very good class, but it starts with Jamey Ramsey, 4-star guy, borderline, almost 5-star. He's a 5-star on Rivals. Shooting guard out of Duncanville, Texas.
Yeah, he's a polished player. He's a complete player. You know, he's a guy who's going to be able to help you in a lot of different ways. I mean, he doesn't have any like real weaknesses to his game. He's a guy that he looks like somebody who's been playing college ball for 2 or 3 years, to be perfectly honest, which is, I mean, he's just more advanced, far more advanced physically and in terms of his kind of his just knowledge and understanding of the game than most vast majority of players that are coming in as high school players. So he's a guy who will contribute immediately. He will challenge for a starting berth immediately, and he's going to just be able to help you in all sorts of different ways.
And another guy, I know he's one of your favorite, Terrence Shannon. He's a top 100 recruit, 4-star guy, small forward wing type player, 6'6", really athletic, out of Chicago, Illinois. Man, Terrence Shannon, what do you think about him?
Yeah, crazy athleticism, above the rim sort of a guy, really good and dangerous in transition, slasher, gets to the rim in a lot of different ways. His jump shot is a little bit odd looking. You know, if you look at Tyrese Halliburton at Iowa State, they've both got that sort of push shot from the chest, you know, a little bit. Now Halliburton shoots a pretty high percentage, and I'm not sure that Shannon is quite at that level yet. But whether they want to change the mechanics or not, you know, that's something that he will need to work on over time, is to develop that shot. Yeah, a guy with tremendous potential. You know, we'll just see how he goes. He'll make Tech certainly a more exciting team, that's for sure.
All right, next up I want to talk about is Tyreke Smith out of the Cedar Hill, DFW area, 6'8", 6'9", big man. Brings defensive rebound in my opinion, but what are your thoughts on what Reek brings to the Red Raider basketball squad?
Yeah, just a big live body guy. You know, at 6'8", but he's an athlete too. You know, at 6'8", not just a big, slow, stiff or anything like that. He can bounce around out there quite a bit. Is a physical player, and you know, these big guys, these young big guys that they're bringing in, and maybe Smith tops the list, are going to be critical for this team next year. They really are, because you don't have a lot of veteran big guys up front to count on for depth, so some of these young big men are going to need to come in there and be able to play some quality minutes against very tough competition. So you need Smith to develop quickly.
All right, from the prep school ranks, Clarence Nee, he's originally from Paris, France, but he's spent some time in New York playing high school ball, played his prep ball up in Pennsylvania at Scotland Performance, at Scotland campus there. Man, he's a guy who I don't think he's reached his ceiling yet. I think he's just scratching the surface, and he's really impressive. Like, he's the type of guy, the more you learn about him, the more you like, the more excited you get. 6'4" combo guard. I think he brings a lot to the table, Mighty Joe.
Yeah, and although listed as a combo guard, I think he's got real point guard skills. That's to me, that's where he leans toward, as opposed to more of a shooting guard.
Sure.
I think he veers that direction. Is another guy that really understands how to play the game, and that's of course pretty important for a point guard type, right? To understand the game. Looks to be really good on the fast break. A tremendous passer, good vision, you know, could be the heir apparent to Davide Moretti on down the line. You know, he could be the understudy there, your 2 European point guard types. So we'll see how that works out.
Only thing about Nadolny I would say is that he's got more athleticism in terms of just like leaping ability and quickness than Moretti. I don't know if he has the shooting touch, if he's developed that yet, that Morrow has, but I like where you're going there. That sounds pretty good to me. Sticking with the prep school ranks, another big man, Russell Tachua, a 7-footer out of Putnam Science Academy. By the way of, where's it, Cameroon or Cameroon, right. All right. Big dude, another guy who I think is more athletic than I think some may realize, and who is really still learning the game. I can't wait to see how he develops under Chris Beard and his staff. So what do you think about Chewy?
Yeah, boy, your big body, that's the biggest dude on the team right there. No doubt about it. 6'11", 7-foot range. Right. And the key for him, nobody is expecting him to come in and just like dominate from the beginning. What he needs to do is establish some confidence for himself early, and then just take baby steps and continue to show improvement over the course of the season. And then hopefully by the end of the year, he's a guy who can give you, 4, 5, 6 quality minutes in off of the bench. Mainly that's going to be defensive and rebounding. But if he does that, then he will sort of establish his future here at Texas Tech.
All right, there's two guys who have been on the roster. They were early enrollees. They were here around Christmas time, but they're still part of the 2019 signing class because they redshirted. Is a 4-star guy, and I know we're both really excited about him. He's a legacy. His dad was a linebacker for Spike Dykes here in the 90s. But Kevin McCullar, a lot of people are calling him Mac. He's 6'6", really. He can play 1 through 3 or 1 through 4 positions in Texas Tech scheme, but he is a legitimate point guard type player, Mighty Joe. He needs to get healthy now. He's had a string of injuries, but if he can really get healthy, I think he could be a big part of the team.
Yeah, if you can call anybody a sleeper in this class.
4-star.
Yeah, 4-star sleeper.
Wow, that's what
but yeah, that would probably be my guy. He's 6'6", as you say, but he is, if they choose to develop him this way, or if this is what they want to do, he is a legitimate 6'6" point guard.
Yes.
And you just don't see too many of those guys outside of the NBA.
Ben Simmons is what I come to
mind,
6'8" point guard.
Yeah. Of course, Magic, the ultimate, of course. But there's but that just points out how the exception to the rule, how uncommon these sorts of players are. But it's a huge advantage. To have a big point guard like that who can see the floor, you can see over people.
Jason Kidd, 6'5".
Jason Kidd, yep.
Sorry.
And so that's where you blow me out of the water here naming all these examples. Maybe it's not so uncommon after all.
No, it's pretty uncommon.
But that's something that you have to be excited about. And another thing that I really like about Mac is, from what I've seen of him, he's a high effort guy.
Yeah.
And he's all business out there. He's no messing around. When he makes a big play, I don't care how great it is, you don't see him bouncing around, celebrating and all this. He's immediately back into the next play, focusing on the next play. He's forgot about it. He's moving on and wanting to make another great play. So I like that intangible aspect to his game, and I think everybody else will too.
And then finally, Andre Savrasov, 6'8", 6'9", forward type guy who can shoot, has a lot of offensive skill. He's been developing. I think he needs to continue to develop some strength and kind of figuring out the angles with the athleticism of Big 12 caliber basketball. But what do you think about Dre?
Well, he's probably way underrated. I see he's listed as a 2-star player, and there's a very obvious explanation for that, is nobody knows anything about him.
Right.
He's from Russia, and I think when it was announced that he was part of the Texas Tech program, everybody's like, what? Well, who is this guy? Where did he come from? But everything that we're hearing about him coming out of the Tech camp, and of course you talked to Matt Mooney about him, is that this guy is a legit player who's going to be making noise pretty much immediately, a fantastic shooter, again in the 6'8", 6'9" range, who could step out and bombs away. We'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to see what he can do too.
Joe, I have one final question for you. Is it basketball season yet?
In my mind, it's always basketball season. That's what I always think about.
All right, great stuff from you as always. Thank you all for watching, and until next time.